Hello guys, I just wanted to get back with you real quick. I posted a card yesterday on Stamp Junkies, and I posted a video on it as well, and I had a couple people reach out to me and ask me if I could show how to do this dragonfly. The dragonfly was very easy to do using paper shaper punch, but this punch is no longer available. I know there are dies that have different dragonflies that you can find. I'm not sure who makes them, but I do know I have a couple other dies. But you can look online, try and find some dies. You can use them with butterflies. So many things that you can do with these. It gives it a kind of like an epoxy look. The embossing powder that we're going to use is called Utee. It's Utee. You can get it at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. I happen to really like it. I've had this jar probably for about 15 years now, and I gave half to my girlfriend, and I've still got a ton of it left. So that's what we're going to be using. That, a Versamark embossing pad. You can use any embossing pad that you have. It doesn't really matter. We're going to go ahead and color up the dragonfly. Here it is here. These little antennas here, I just pull them off because they're not going to make it. They're going to fall off anyways once you get the marker on there. So we're going to go ahead and do a purple one. I'm going to use V17, 15, and 12. You can use any markers that you have. It doesn't matter what kind they are. Any will work. You're just really getting color on your image. And I'm not real picky on how it's colored. Again, just getting ink on there. If you go into the middle, that's going to be colored in black anyways, so that doesn't really matter either. I just make sure I go up far enough because I really don't want to put the black inside the wings. So there's the first color. I'm not really going to try and blend this too much because I want to see, just like you would a real dragonfly, you would see some variation in the wings. So I don't really want to blend it. I kind of want to leave it streaky. It's a matter of preference, however you want it. That's just my preference. And I'm not real particular on the way these are colored. Again, just putting color down so that you can go ahead and get it all covered. If you want to add a little bit more dark, just go ahead and bring it out a little bit more. You can certainly do that. Okay. That to me is good enough. I'm going to go ahead and color in the body. I use black for that. Again, I'm a little bit more careful because I really don't want to go into the wings on this. So I'm more careful with this than, with the color, because the color is going to be covered up with black. So if you happen to go into the body with that, it's not really a huge deal. Okay, I think we're good here. So now we've got it colored. So now we want to add some embossing ink to it. And again, this is Utee at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, and I believe Amazon has it as well. I've had it for so long. It lasts forever. It's great to have. Once you know how to use the embossing, powder, it's awesome. So many different things. And I'm going to show you something else that you can do with it as well. So you want to get a good coverage. I recommend having 2 sheets of paper here. One that you're going to put your embossing pad on. And then, I messed up. I actually should have gone to my clean sheet, which I will do afterwards. Because it's going to be hard to funnel this back in. It's going to stick to my paper. So, lesson learned. And you can see, that's why you want to kind of move to a clean sheet when you're emboss on one side and, or use your embossing ink on one side, and then your embossing powder on a clean sheet. So I am going to go ahead and just cut this in half, because obviously I don't want to use the part that's got embossing powder on it. So I will keep this for my embossing pad. This one here we will use for the actual embossing powder. I hold it usually with, I usually use my scissors. I don't want to use tweezers with this. And once you find your groove, it'll hold it. So you can see it kind of melting. Melts very quick. You don't want to leave it on there too long, because this powder is so thick that it will actually just go off the paper. So you want to let it dry for a second and move it to the clean paper, or, well, the paper that you're actually embossing on. We'll wait for it to dry completely. Once it feels, you can tell when it's dry. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do a second coat. Okay, I think we got pretty good coverage there. So we're going to go ahead and move this back over to this, a clean sheet, so that the embossing powder doesn't stick to it. Make sure you have it covered up pretty much. I don't know what was in there. Oh, that's the antenna. We're going to funnel this back in there. And now we're going to bring this back over here, and we'll heat it up on this. And like I said, you can see it melting really quick. And if you keep it on there too long, you're going to watch the liquid, because it is very, very thick. You're going to watch it just melt right off the page. So try and be careful with that. And I would recommend moving it just so that it doesn't stick to your paper. You know that it's good. Let it dry for a few seconds. And I'm going to do one more coat. I like doing 3 coats. It gives it a really thick embossing, you know, almost like I said, epoxy look, which is great. So we're going to do one more time. Okay. We're going to move it to our clean sheet. Find my little spoon here. This jar I found at Hobby Lobby, and I will tell you that with this little spoon, it is amazing. It is like the best thing. If I could put all my embossing powders in this, I would. But most of them come in little jars, and it doesn't make sense to do a big jar like that for a little jar of embossing powder. Okay, so this is the last time. This is actually the 3rd time. So we're going to go ahead and heat this up real quick, and then this one will be finished. You don't want to put your gun too close to it, because then you're going to heat it up really quick, and you're going to make all your embossing powder go right off the page, or off the dragonfly, I should say. So that is the 3rd time and the final time on that. We are going to let that dry just a second. Once it's dry, you can leave it flat like this. I choose to usually bend the wings up a little bit. Gives a little bit more of a dimension. And, you know, I mean, it's pretty thick. So that part of it, it's not going to move once you put it on your card or your page or whatever you're doing. So here is the purple one. Again, we can leave it flat or we can bend the wings up. If you're going to bend the wings up, you want to do that fairly quickly. And I usually don't bend them up too much, but you can play around with it. See how you like it. So these are the images that I've got done. You can do them in any color combination. You know, I usually do them, I've got different colored flowers. I love making the flowers. So, you know, depending on what color card I'm doing, I'll usually do them to match so that, you know, it's all color coordinated. You know, it's perfect. You get the perfect embellishment for it. So it works out pretty well. I'm going to show you one more little thing that you can do with these real quick. I've got the word hugs. I just cut it out in black cardstock. I am going to show you how you can get the same look just using your cardstock. So we're going to go ahead and ink this up. And, you know, I know I used to buy these epoxy words, you know, back in my scrapbooking days, and they're pretty expensive. So when I found out that I could kind of do my own, it was like, oh, okay. I can save some money on doing this, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So I sometimes will go ahead and do my own words or my own letters. We're going to go ahead and move this. Bring this back over. Well, remember, you always want to have a clean sheet for where you put your embossing powder so that it doesn't stick anywhere. We're going to take our scissors again, and that's going to hold it down for us, or keep it from moving too much, I should say. Now you can get the same look with glossy accents, but this is instantly dry. So I tend to like doing this a little bit more. And you can get pretty much as thick as you want. So that part of it I like as well. Now this you want to move around before it dries. There you go. You know what, we're going to go ahead and give it one more. I'm going to wait for that to dry. There we go. We'll give it one more so we can give it a thick. Move it over to the clean sheet. We'll do one more. I'm not going to go 3 on this. I'm just going to do the 2 because usually on the words, that's good enough. You don't want to go too thick, in my opinion. But test it out, see how you like it, and go from there. And since this is the last one, I'm just going to go ahead and dry it on here. Go. That's something that you don't want to do, but I will tell you that I'm glad it happened because it's happened before. So when this does happen, just go ahead and pick it back up. Oh, and I ripped it. Well, now you know that things actually do happen. So we're going to go ahead and do this again because that has happened before. But it's been a while. I usually don't flip it like that. Let me cut out one more word. See, now I know how Nicole Spore and Jennifer McGuire feel. I hear them say all the time that, you know, when they're doing their lives, you get the real unedited version, and you get to see how they correct their mistakes. And so you're actually getting to see that now. This is the Hugs die. I'm trying to remember who makes that, but I don't really recall. I have all of my stuff actually stored on the door. I've got magnets holding it. So they're not in packages anymore, which it's kind of a love-hate relationship, because times like this, you don't really know who your image is made by, which kind of stinks, but it is convenient in the way that it's just a grab and go. So that part of it is great. And I'm sorry you have to watch me do this again. But I will tell you that, like I said, that very rarely ever happens. And it's probably only happening because I'm videoing it. So we're going to do this again real quick. You can see it start to melt real quick. I try and move it almost immediately because I don't want any of the embossing powder on the edge to stick. And that's where my problem was. I was too quick. And yeah, I flipped it. So not a good thing to do. Should be dry now. Okay. And we're going to do this one more time. Hopefully the third time, well, this is the second on this, but hopefully the second time is charm. Oh, and I am so sorry about that. I had salad for dinner, and apparently I'm still hungry. So, okay, so this is the second time. We're going to try not to flip it this time, guys. I will try my best. But again, you don't want to leave it in one spot too long, because the embossing powder will stick, and you want to make sure that you can move your image. And just gently, because the embossing powder is still wet. There we go. Okay. It's still a little bit wet, so we want to let it dry a little bit. Go ahead and put this down here. Move that down. Okay, so here we go. This is some of the things that the Utee can do. You can use it on letters, words, images. I have the word hugs on this, but if I used this, it just gives it a cooler look, in my opinion. You know, almost, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's like having glossy accents, but in my opinion, it's a lot easier because it's almost 30 seconds and it's dry. So that's that. I will say that I have, I know you can't get this punch anymore. It is Paper Shapers. It's from probably 20 years ago, my scrapbooking days. It's no longer available. I have looked. So I did punch out, I've got a total of 10 baggies that have 10 dragonflies each. And I will send these, if you're interested, you want a bag free of charge, consider it my rack of the day. Let me know, put a comment down below, and I'll have, if we get a lot of people, I'll have my husband draw 10 names tomorrow. I'm going to say tomorrow night by 8 o'clock. So whoever posts by 12 or by 8 o'clock tomorrow night will be in to get a baggie of these. And like I said, there's 10 in there. So you can try and do your own little dragonfly. If you have any questions on these, please let me know. You can post below, and I will answer them as soon as I can. I think that was it. Have a great night. Happy Friday. It's the weekend. Yay. So I will talk to you soon. Bye.